All right, welcome back. In this episode, we're going to talk about how you can take your control back over your mind. That's right, how to have complete control over your own mind. My name is Gianna Badot. I'm a certified hypnotherapist, meditation teacher, and one-on-one coach. And if you want to learn more about how you can work with me one-on-one to take charge of your mind, break through the glass ceiling in your mind that is holding you back and keeping you stuck in your work, your business, your relationships, in all areas of your life, you can check out the link in the notes below to learn more about how you can work with me one-on-one. And you can also grab access to the Rewired app. There's over 30 subconscious activations, meditations, and self-hypnosis audio recordings to help you stress less and achieve more every single day. All right, let's dive on in. How to take complete charge over your mind, how to have complete control over your mind. First and foremost, why is this so important? Your mind is a wild place when left untamed, and every action you take in your reality starts in your mind, specifically in your subconscious mind, even more specifically from the programming that is in your subconscious mind. So when you are taking control over your mind, you are actually also, in a much bigger way, taking control of your whole entire life and reality, because what is going on in your mind is often reflected into your life. That's right. Your mind is a mirror. What is happening in the mind manifests into your reality. It's like looking at a lake, looking at water. You see the reflection of the sky and the sun off that water. Your mind is like the water. What is in your mind is what will be reflected back at you in your reality. So this is why it is so important. If you do not have a reality that you are enjoying, if you would like to shift or change anything in your reality, your relationships, your abundance, your business, literally anything, it starts in your mind. And we know the mind is a wild place. Like I just said, when left untamed, the mind is a very wild place. And the thoughts that go through your mind are oftentimes unconscious. You don't even realize what is going on in your mind half the time. You're just reacting and operating off these crazy thoughts that are running through your mind day in and day out. So you have to take your power back over your mind, because if you let these untamed, wild thoughts run free in your mind, you're going to have stress, you're going to have anxiety, you're going to struggle in your relationships, you're going to struggle in your work, in your business, you're going to struggle everywhere. You must have your mind in check. A untamed mind is a mind at war with you. Right? Battling you for the reality you want and the reality that you are unconsciously allowing to happen because of your thoughts, because of your negative, unconscious, self-defeating thoughts. So you want to have control over your mind. You want to be aware of what is going on in your mind. So how do you take control over your mind? How to have complete control over your mind? This all starts with having deep and profound awareness on what is going on in your mind. Realizing the thoughts that are happening in your mind. Observing the thoughts that are happening in your mind. That's right, studying yourself, really understanding what is going on inside of you. That's right, understanding what is going on inside of you. Because if you have no idea what is going on inside of you, you are living out of control. You have zero control. And now let me just say this. There is no control in life. Okay, you don't have control over the things that are happening to you day in and day out. You certainly don't have control over some of the really harder things that life throws your way, like losing a loved one or changes that come into your life. There are things that you have zero control over. But if you have control over your mind, and this is the only thing that you actually can have control over, if you have control over your mind, you can handle losing a loved one with more grace, with more connection to yourself, with more peace within you. You can handle any challenge that comes your way with a grounded energy. You won't stress out and have a panic attack when shit hits the fan in life. You're going to be able to handle things a lot better when you have control over your mind. And now, this is not easy. If it were easy, we'd have a lot more conscious human beings walking through life right now. But the mind is the most challenging and hardest task that you will ever take on in your life. But it is the most rewarding task that you will ever take on in your life. Because again, when you take charge of your mind, when you have control over your mind, you can literally handle anything. You can literally shift a perspective around any challenge that comes your way. But if your mind is wild, untamed, if you're unconscious, if you are operating from reactive thoughts all of the time, you are going to have reactive actions. You are going to react poorly. You are going to feel stressed. You are going to feel anxious. You are going to literally be in a prison in your own body because your mind is running wild and free. You need to take control of your mind. And you do this through the power of self-awareness. So what does this actually look like? It's first and foremost understanding what are the thoughts that are running through your mind day in and day out. What are those thoughts? What are the thoughts that are dictating your actions? What are the thoughts that are helping you show up in your business, in your relationships, in your life? The thoughts that you have every day are what determine the way that you are showing up, the things that you are saying, the things that you are doing. So what are those thoughts? Take a week and do what I call an observation exercise where you really take a hard look at what are the dominant thoughts that are flowing through your mind majority of the time. And then you have an understanding on what type of thoughts are freely running through your mind on a daily basis. And when you understand what thoughts are actually running through your mind, you're bringing what is unconscious to the conscious level of your mind. And what you gain awareness around, you actually have the power to rewire, to shift, to change. So when you know what those thoughts are, you can actually shift them. You can actually change them. You can start shifting your perspective. You can start changing the way you choose to see things by changing the way you think. And you are in charge of this. Like I mentioned, you have zero control over mostly everything in your life. Life is going to throw insanely crazy and challenging things at you. Hard, traumatic things at you maybe sometimes. I certainly know I've faced a lot of trauma and hardship throughout my own life, and I've had zero control. No matter what I did to try to gain control over what was happening to me in my life, there is no way to control it. I learned that the hard way. In fact, I used to be a control freak myself, trying to control everything in my life, trying to control this, control that, control people. But it got me nowhere. My life shifted and changed dramatically, and the way I felt shifted and changed dramatically when I took control of my mind, when I took control of the way I felt in my own body. Because when you take control of your mind and the way that you feel in your body, the way you face hardship, the way you face all of the things that come at us in life is totally different. You can actually take it on with bravery, with grit, with grace. You can actually find gratitude in the hardest things that you go through because you're choosing to see it differently. Because your mindset is literally primed for anything to come your way. And so having this awareness around what thoughts are going through your mind is very important. And you can gain awareness very easily by breathing more intentionally. Tuning into your breathing throughout your day will help you slow down enough so that you can actually hear the thoughts going through your mind. So you want to actually train yourself to intentionally breathe throughout your day. That's right. You're not just breathing to survive and gain air and oxygen in your lungs. you're intentionally breathing to feel what is happening in your body, to feel what is happening in your life, to hear what is going on in your own mind. You are becoming an intentional creator of your own self. And so by intentionally breathing throughout your day, it's going to help you become a more intentional creator of your life. So how can you start training your mind to breathe more intentionally? Set reminders in your phone. This is a really easy way to get started with this, that create pauses throughout your day if you just to stop and breathe. That's one really simple way. I have a mindfulness app actually that a bell goes off every hour and it reminds me to stop and come into the present moment. It's really beautiful. And naturally, I've trained myself to intentionally breathe throughout my day through the power of self-hypnosis, right? You can take your power back over your mind very, very powerfully through hypnosis because you're training your subconscious mind for a new reality. And your subconscious mind is, again, it is your operating system. It controls everything you're thinking, everything you're doing, everything you're saying, everything you're feeling. Your subconscious mind is the hub, the operating system of that. And through self-hypnosis, you can actually take your power back over your subconscious. So you're changing the way you think, you're changing the way you feel, you're changing the way that you are showing up in your day-to-day reality by changing the programming in your subconscious mind, by changing the operating system that you are operating from day in and day out. So if you want to try self-hypnosis, you can grab access to the Rewired app in the notes below. There's over 30 subconscious activations and self-hypnosis audio recordings and meditations to help you take your power back over yourself every day. It's meant to really be a daily power punch for your subconscious. These sessions are on the shorter end, starting at 5 minutes to on the longer side. There's some that are 15 minutes, some that are 20, some that are 30, so that you literally have an audio session for however much time you have. So if you're busy, there's no excuse. There is an audio recording for you, no matter how much time you have. You can drop into your subconscious and take charge of yourself first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning. In fact, your subconscious mind is the most suggestible when you are just waking up in the morning. So if you wake up and you do a self-hypnosis audio, your day is going to go exactly as you visualize it to go. You are going to feel exactly as you visualize yourself to feel because you are pre-programming yourself to feel that way. You are pre-programming your subconscious for the day that you want to have. So check out the Rewired app in the notes below and you can start practicing self-hypnosis first thing in the morning. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. This is the best way to take your power back over your mind, to take control over your wild, untamed mind instead of letting it just run wild and free and letting just whatever happen. You want to be in charge of what's happening because you have one life, you have one chance, and every day is a gift. So why mess around? Why just float through life unconsciously? Get in touch with your subconscious mind and start becoming a deliberate creator of the way you are showing up in your life every day. It is going to change everything about your life, how much money you're making, your relationships, quite literally everything. So you can grab access to those recordings in the notes below, and make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single episode along this incredible journey. And I will see you next time.